In this video, we're going to learn what is productivity and how to calculate it for our company. Let's start. So what is exactly productivity? It's a relationship between the number of units produced and the resources that the company needs to make those units. In a more technical and specific vocabulary, it's a measure of the technical efficiency of the business. It's a measurement that will allow us to know if they are using the resources properly or not. So why is the productivity useful? Well, this is a way to know if the productive department is working properly or not. This is not the only way to know it. Remember, all the things you're learning to calculate will add information for the company. So this is going to complement the information you already have from the internal result. But what we want to know now is not about the euros. We want to know what's physically happening in the productive department. This is why the productivity is going to be measured in physical units. Why don't we calculate productivity in euros? Well, we already have information related to the productive department in euros when we calculate the internal result. But there are big disadvantages in calculating this in euros. What you're going to do with the productivity most of the times is that you're going to compare it. You're going to compare the productivity of the company with the previous year of the same company or with other companies. If we use euros, we're going to have a distortion in the results. Why? Two main reasons. The first one, what happens if the prices of the raw material rise from one year to the next one? It may look that the productivity is worse, but the company is being as efficient or even better. The only thing that has changed is the price of the raw material, not the way in which the company is using the raw material. So this will be one of the distortions. What will be the other one? In case you want to compare it with your competitors, what happens if one of the competitors has a special agreement with the suppliers, with the providers, and they get cheaper items, they get cheaper raw material? It may look they are doing it much better, but it's not true because it's distortioned by euros. So it looks they are doing better because they are buying raw material cheaper, but that's not the question. The question is the relation between the amount, the number of kilograms of raw material, and the number of units you can get from that raw material. So in these two cases, an increase of the prices or that you're not so good negotiating, it would look that the company is doing worse when it's not. The only thing that has changed is the price. And this is why we calculate productivity in physical units. Let's go to the formula finally, or maybe not yet. We said that the productivity was the relation between the units produced and the resources used to make them. The relation means that we're going to divide. So on top, we're going to place the number of units produced, and on the bottom, we're going to place the resources we use to produce them. What if instead of a company producing physical products, we have a service company offering services? Well, we will do the same. Instead of placing the number of units produced, we will place the number of services offered. What happens if the company produces more than one product or more than one service or a combination of products and services? Then you need different formulas. These formulas I'm going to show you in this video will not allow you to work with companies with more than one product. But we're not going to do this in that course, okay? So just focus on what I'm offering in this video. So we're going to see now the formulas of the partial productivity. These are the ones you're going to use when doing the exercises. So the first block is going to be productivity related to the production means. So in this case, you're going to divide the number of units produced by the number of machines you have been using to produce them. On your right side, you've got the raw material. In this case, you're going to divide the number of units produced by, for example, the kilograms of raw material. And in the center, we've got the labor productivity. In this case, we're going to calculate three different ones. The first one is divided the number of units produced by the number of employees. The second one is divided the number of units produced by total gross hours. And the third one is going to be dividing number of units produced by total net hours. And now we're going to talk a little bit about who do we consider employee, who is not included as an employee, what are gross hours, and what are net hours. Let's start with gross and net hours. Gross hours represent the total number of hours that employees are in the company, inside the office, inside the building, even if they are not working. Why should they not be working? Maybe it's breakfast time, maybe it's a break in the middle of the morning, maybe they've got some waiting time because there's going to be some maintenance in the machines, or maybe because the materials haven't arrived, or whatever. So total number of hours that the employees are inside the company are considered gross hours. So gross hours include net hours plus lost hours. What are net hours exactly? Well, net hours are those hours that employees are effectively working. So they are really working. And we consider here ordinary hours and extraordinary hours. So ordinary hours are those ones that are included in their usual working schedule. Extraordinary hours are when the employee has to stay longer because there's a lot of work or because the company needs it. So extraordinary does not mean it's going to be included in a different category, okay? Ordinary plus extraordinary are net hours. And net hours plus the rest of the time that the employees in the company are gross hours. Let's consider now what's going on with the direct labor and indirect labor. So which employees are we considering when we calculate the productivity? Direct labor are those employees that are directly associated to the production process. So they produce the item or the service. They are the ones providing it, okay? In the case of indirect labor, are those workers that support the productive process, but they don't produce. In general, they do administrative tasks, they do some cleaning, they do some maintenance. They usually work for all the departments of the company. Let me help you with an example. So in the case of a class, direct labor will be the teacher. The teacher is the one that is providing the service. Who would be indirect labor? Well, the cleaning lady who's helping us to have the room completely ready for us, the people making sure that we've got the computer, that we've got the internet connection, and so on, the people assigned to administrative tasks, as enrolling you in the courses, and the people who's taking care of the electrical power, all those people that are working but not giving the class. Okay, so the teacher will be direct labor, and the rest of the people making possible the building is open, the room is clean, we have internet access, there's electricity, all those people, those are indirect labor. Okay, one thing you have to consider when talking about employees and direct labor and indirect labor is that managers don't count when you calculate productivity. So please remember, only employees, not managers. What are we going to do with the results? Well, as we said before, we're going to compare the productivity with the same company and previous years, and we're going to compare the productivity with other companies doing the same business. And based on that information, the company has to take decisions to improve. What kind of decisions to improve? Well, the company can decide to invest in equipment. So they may decide they need a new machine, okay, because they don't have enough machines. They can also improve human capital. They can give courses to their employees. They can improve their human capital, their employees in such a way. They can also decide on a technological change. Maybe they are using old technology and they know if they move to a newer one, they are going to get better results. And they are also able to manage resources. Why maybe the company is not getting a very good productivity? Because it takes a lot of time bringing the raw material from the warehouse to the production department. Then they should imagine how to do that in a different way, how to have some stock of raw material in the production department so they can start working and they can renew that stock all the time. So the stock of raw material is already there and they don't have to be waiting to arrive the raw material to start working. So there's a few decisions that the company can take in order to improve the productivity and to be in a better position. I hope this helps and see you in the next video.